Hello and welcome. I hope you're safe and well. In today's exciting episode, we have another collections video. It's my black and white tweed jackets. There's actually more of them than I thought.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
I didn't actually think I'd have enough black and white tweed jackets to make a whole video, so I got out all these other tweeds and fabric, black and white fabrics as well, intending to cram them all into the one video. But then I decided I'm going to make two separate videos. So there'll be a fabric one of all the gorgeous tweeds that I haven't done yet. But yeah, so this one is just jackets. So first we have this black and white tweed it's Linton tweed, but I had to show you the Italian silk lining because the colors are absolutely fabulous and it's buttery soft. I absolutely love it. So this is what it looks like on the outside, and it's got this, I'll go in close, and it does have flecks of other colours in there, so hence my decision to use that gorgeous Italian silk for the lining. But yeah, the tweed is black and white. Later on I'll show you another black and white tweed from Linton. It's essentially this one, but it's got less white in it. And yeah, I couldn't decide between the two, so I bought both of them. The black and white one, the starker dark looking one, which I'll show you in a minute, is really classic. And I didn't like this one when I first got it. And I was like, oh, whatever, I'll make it up into a jacket. I sort of on the fence about it. I was like, oh, I don't really like it though. But as soon as I made it up into a jacket, I absolutely love it. It doesn't look like, as a bit of fabric, it looked a bit wishy-washy, and yeah, I don't know why I even bought it. As a bit of fabric, it did not look impressive, but as soon as I made it up into a jacket, it looks perfect as a jacket, whereas it wasn't that impressive as a bit of fabric. So never underestimate a tweed. And this is the other one. So this one is, I guess, compared when you put the two together, this one looks like a classic tweed, whereas the other one looked a bit wishy-washy. And when I made the two up, I think I like the other one more. And obviously I finished that one and I still haven't finished this one. It's because I was never quite sure what sort of beaded trim I should make with this one. Like, do you make it black? That's kind of boring. Or I could make a white one, but I'd already done the previous jacket and that's got plain white trim on it. So again, it's got those slight little colours in there. So I'm not sure how I'm going to bead that one, so it's still not finished. This one here, I still haven't quite finished making this jacket. As you can see, the two front panels of the lining are usually made out of tweed, and I haven't made them in the case of this one. So I absolutely love this tweed. It's kind of looks like it's striped, but it's not. It's woven, it's black and white dotted fat strips of really thin fabric with black and white, and the warp, so that's one direction, and the other direction is these neon pink bits of cotton thread. It's adorable, but still unfinished. I'm not sure how I'm going to bead that one. Probably do all over embellishment. And ooh, we have a Chanel tweed. I love this one. So it's and again, I'm just showing you the Italian silk lining. This is so old. I think it's from probably 2011, I think, when digital printing first became a thing. And this is literally the first digital print silk I ever bought, the lining that I just showed you. And so the silk lining is sort of got flecks of gold, and it's lots of different pinks. And this is black and white and gold and pink in there, mainly black and white. And I had enough to make two jackets. So I've made one in this classic boxy shape with 3/4 sleeves, which looks more like a vintage Chanel jacket, and then later on I'll show you an unfinished one of the other half of the fabric, and it's using Vogue 7975, a different pattern. I really love this one. I'm not sure I love the pink beaded trim. It's it's interesting, but if I had my time again, I'd probably do a black and white beaded trim. And then I think, yeah, so this is the other half of that Chanel fabric. And as I started telling you, it's winter weight, it's a summer weight tweed. The difference between a summer weight tweed and a winter weight tweed is basically when you make a tweed, to design it, you start with a base fabric, a base yarn of warp and weft, like the up and down ones and the across ones. And in a winter weight tweed, those base bits of thread or yarn are wool, and in a summer weight tweed they're cotton. So this is summer weight because the base design is cotton, and then they just add some more expensive threads in there as well, and that's what gives it that beautiful complex look of having it's not just all the different colors, it's all the different textures and the different types of yarns and threads and cottons and laces and all different things in there. This is a Valentino tweed. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I think I pretty much bought it because the name of the tweed was Witch's Weave, and but also it's beautiful. And I did have enough to make a jacket, but for some bizarre reason I decided to make a vest instead, and I really don't wear it that much, but I do love these vintage sequins that I use. So I made the beaded trim. It's got small black sequins as the base and then larger ones over the top with a few little beads. And so yeah, I do have the leftover bit of this fabric still, so I think I could carefully unpick some sections, cut out some sleeves and add them to it. And then if it was a black jacket, I would actually wear it. But I'd have to redo the trim too, because it's trim specifically designed for a vest. But yeah, so I like it, but I would wear it more if it had sleeves. I suppose I could make transparent sleeves and just add cuff beading that matched the body of the jacket. Anyway, the next one is this black and white tweed. Well, it's sort of a greyish cream and black, and then I had a little bit of leftover because it was quite a wide tweed, so I made some fringe. I've got a video on how you make fringe, so if I remember, I'll put in the description box below, I'll put the link to the video about how to make a fringe. And yeah, so it's Vogue 7975, the standard jacket, and then I just use the extra bit to make the fringe at the bottom. And I don't know how I'm going to bead this one. I quite like the idea of doing drips of beads, like rows of beads hanging down over the fringe, and then just doing matching beading around the neckline as well, and maybe a bit on the collar, on the cuffs. I think that would look cute. And next we have another. This is just getting embarrassing. It's because I have one actual Chanel jacket and it's black. So if I want to wear something boring and conservative to a meeting, like a corporate meeting, then I usually wear the actual Chanel jacket, not one of my jackets, because it's just basically plain black. And yeah, so this is another Chanel tweed. So that's my excuse for not having finished so many of these jackets. But this is a black and white Chanel tweed with the sort of pastel colours in there as well. And yes, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous tweed. And it's really well known, that particular tweed, because a couple of K-pop stars happen to buy jackets or be given Chanel jackets with that particular, made out of that particular tweed. So I think that's why I put it on ice for a few years. I was like, oh, I don't want people coming up to me. I mean, I love K-pop as much as the next person, but I don't want people thinking I'm trying to be famous or something. Anyway, so the next one is, that one I haven't finished beading it. I've finished making it, haven't finished beading it, and it's made out of raw silk, and so it's a really bulky jacket, so it's going to have heavy glass beads on it, but I haven't quite decided what sort yet. Next one is, I actually forgot to film this when I was filming the yellow and purple collections video. So I added it in here because technically it does have white flags in there and it does have a lot of black in there. But I call this the taxi cab Chanel jacket because it is a Chanel tweed. It does have a lot of yellow in there, but it also has a lot of black and white and multicolored thread in there too. So it's really, really beautiful. And the beaded trim, I kind of got a bit carried away with the beaded trim. This is a close-up. Isn't it a gorgeous, gorgeous tweed? I love how it changes. Like if you look at it up close, it's just got ridiculous amount of color in there, so many different colors. But then when you look at it from far away, it kind of almost looks black and white. And then if you're in a mid distance, it's sort of got a yellow hue to it. And then, so I think yellow and blue look beautiful together. So that's why I went with the bluish, blackish sort of beaded trim. The beaded trim is a little bit too heavy, but I mean, those big pearl shaped looking ones they're glass beads, heavy solid glass beads, and with a pearlized finish. And then the rest of the beads are also solid glass beads, so it's a very heavy beaded trim. It's fine if you only wear it for an 8-hour day, but I have been stuck like in a 10, 12, 14-hour day, and it does get a little bit heavy towards the end of the day. But if you're just going to a regular work day, it's fine. But I love it. I know the beaded trim is a little thick and over the top, but I think it's beautiful. And the tweed is just so completely gorgeous. This is me thinking about maybe changing the beaded trim, but I don't know. I like it the way it is. It's just so... I like each of the jackets. They really are time capsules of, one of my tastes and also my skill level at the time that they were made. This I made at least a year ago, or maybe 2. I know I made it during a Vlogmas because in December for the past 3 years now, I've done a video a day. Well, in October and November, I just try and make an extra video every now and again, so that in December I've got a few videos already made. And then sort of that allows you to do a video each day. But this is a Vlogmas make. I can't remember which year exactly, but I bought this tweed in 2020 during the pandemic, and it took like 4 months for it to arrive. It was ridiculous. So then I just put it away in a storage box for ages because Etsy just did nothing. They're like, oh well, too bad, I guess you lost your money. It was so frustrating. So when they finally all the tweeds finally arrived, I was like, I'm never buying anything off Etsy again. And I also put them away for a little while before I so I could just distance myself from it. And then, I eventually made it up into a jacket, but I haven't beaded it yet. And then this one, it's before I made the gold Egyptian jacket, this is the one that I called the Egyptian tweed, because from far away it looks white, but then when you get up close, it's a couple of different whites, but it's also metallic rose gold, yellow gold, metallic teal and metallic silver all mixed together. And I don't know, I think it's because it's got the teal in there as well. It just sort of reminds me of, those ancient Egyptian costumes that are always teal and yellow gold. So yeah, and I think it's from it was from a European designer fabric store, but it was from a Nordic country that it was actually made in. And then the beaded trim is mostly white beads because the tweed is mostly white, but it also has these tiny little cube beads. They're glass beads and they've got a gold coating on them, but it's got sort of a tealish metallic finish to it as well. So yeah, I really like it. It's very understated, but also incredibly bling with all that metallic. It's sort of really thin bits of foil in there. So it's amazing. You have to be up close to see all the different colors of the metallic foils in there. And so, yeah, I sort of did the beaded trim the same way. From far away, it just looks kind of white. But if you get up close, you see it's got tiny little flowers in there and all different types of beads and sequins. It's great fun to make. It took forever. And now we were on the last jacket. This is sort of a creamy white, not actual white. And the black looks rather greyish, and it also has green in there, a couple of different greens in there. But I put it in the black and white one rather than the greens because I just did. And yeah, I've tried beading this one twice. The first one I did collar and cuff beading, so beaded beads around the neck and the cuffs and the base, the hem of it. And it went down too low, so it messed with this design feature on the back. So I ended up taking those beads off. They were sort of transparent, smoky glass with the sort of the tiniest hint of gold and teal on them. It was really beautiful, but I just felt like the jacket deserved something else. So then I tried it with these tiny little jewellery bits of keys, like little charms that were keys, and that didn't look very good either. So this is me just showing you all the jackets we've just seen. So then I took that beading off as well. So whatever I do the next type of beading for that last jacket will hopefully be the one, third time lucky. But yeah, I haven't quite figured out how to bead it yet. Maybe I'll just make an actual beaded trim. I keep threatening to get out the frame and make a beaded trim. It's just that making beaded trim takes such a long time, and once you finally made it and prepared the back of it and everything, you still have to hand stitch it to the jacket, which, oh my gosh, it's so technically demanding and it takes a long time. So yes, that's why I keep putting it off. But I mean, look at the beaded trims. They do look adorable. So they're definitely worth the investment in time. It's just, I know how difficult the last step is. So that keeps me from doing it. But maybe I'll do a small beaded trim on something else and then a more beefy beaded trim for this one, because I do think a beaded trim would look quite cute. But I also really love that vintage knit jacket that I made with all the different types of beading in all different rows. So maybe I'll do one like that. Anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you've been inspired to make some jackets for yourself. It is a pain doing all the mock-ups and doing all the alterations and getting it to fit perfectly and then making the actual jacket, but it's totally worth it. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Happy sewing.